Welcome to another CEO Wisdom podcast. We have Aaron heimes on. He is MBA and president, co-founder of E360 TV, a streaming network. So we're going to talk about OTT monetization, brand awareness, streaming media, and video promotion, everything in between. This podcast is brought to you by podpair.com. If you want to start scale, be invited to podcasts like this one. Aaron, welcome to the pod. Can you tell me a bit more about yourself and your company?
Hey, nice to meet you, or nice to see you again. Appreciate having me on. I am background is in project management, been an entrepreneur for 12 years, 15 years, something like that. My company is E360 TV Network. So we are an OTT, over the top television streaming TV network. And what we do is we stream live multiple we have about 150 individual hosts that have shows and such. They're about 56 minutes each. And then we also do events from the space industry to real estate industry, a lot of different niches. And we've been around for 6 years now. So
what do you guys do exactly? Who do you target, and why are people buying from E360 TV?
So it's usually a lot of our creators and storytellers are a lot of times speakers, authors, have entrepreneurs themselves, have businesses, but what they're utilizing their show is either more of their passions and the kind of the heart and the soul behind their brands. Because you can't have infomercials, it can't be salesy because no one's going to watch that. That's just lame. So usually the people they want to get their voice out in the media. They want to spread value into the world. They want to change people's lives, do a lot of things in health and wellness, spirituality, a lot of women's programming. So there's a lot of different niches, but the commonality between everyone is that they really do want to just, they want to help. They want to put out good stuff into this world. So that we've never sold what we do. Because it either clicks with someone, like they look at it and they go, oh, this is the next level I wanted to go to. Or if they're on the fence, then I will usually tell them, hey, stick with Facebook or YouTube or whatever it may be. That's fine. Because it's absolutely totally fine. It's just that we want to make sure that quality that's going out to the audience is coming from somewhere that had that passion.
Cool. So isn't TV in decline right now? What do you think about that media as a whole vs the mobile and tablets, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, people have been converting a long time from traditional cable sets over to either over the air or streaming TV. And streaming TV, IPTV, whatever you want to call it, it ranges from social media over to the different app or the different platforms like Roku and Amazon Fire and Apple TV and LG and Samsung, and then your personal devices, of course, your iOSs, your Androids. It continues to grow. It gets really tough for individual creators because it's hard to get traction. Because you're trying to do everything, you're creating, you're marketing, you're doing it all yourself, and it's really tough. And that's why we became popular, is because we don't create, we don't own their content, anything like that. Our job is to amplify. That's what we do. And so the space is growing though, because people are just moving over, and even as the generational people climb on board, you have older people that have wised up to, why am I paying this amount of money when I can get the same thing or a hell of a lot more options over here.
How hard was to actually build the software to make it happen?
I can tell you this way: if you asked me, knowing the knowledge that I have now, and whether I wanted to start a streaming TV network, I would have told you hell no. It's a tough environment because the the business models aren't really sorted out. It's very Wild West. And it's and we had to rely on a lot of other people and piggyback on their technology and then just stack it in a way that it worked for us and what we wanted to do. Now we have turned a new chapter where we're actually, we rented and we leased and all these things from other people for a long time. Actually get to the point next year, the beginning next year, that we'll own our own, which is going to be awesome because now we can fully make it the way we want it and the way we see it in the future.
Right. And I mean, you've raised money from WeFunder that helped to create the product and the app itself. Like, what are your top 3 goals this year?
Yeah, so number one thing is we're updating our system, especially from the audience perspective. So we're going to true 24/7 feel, where it's a linear streaming experience where you sit down and it just plays content. You're not jumping around. There's this thing called VOD fatigue. And you probably experienced it. Most everyone's experienced it, where you get so sick of looking for something new to watch that finally you'll default and just go to something you're comfortable with. So where people are now, they just want to sit down and just watch and just feed them content. So we're going to that feel, especially our live side, and then also, there's a lot of other pieces that we're going through that. And then we've done a new partnership with a studio out of Austin, and we're going to be doing a lot more events, but not as much. We did a lot of lecture style, a lot of organizational type of content events, but now we're going to get into more music, comedy, a little more entertainment factor. And then the number 3 one, I'll say, I don't know. Those are my biggest priorities. It's to pour gas on this whole thing. We're at 1 million viewers per month. I would like to see a 10, 20 million viewers a month, and that's the overall goal.
And how does one compete with Hulu or Netflix or Prime, these other channels that like fight for people's attention?
You don't. If you're trying to compete against Hulu or Sling or Netflix, you're gonna run out of money before you even get a glimpse of that market. There's the big boys that are in this sector, which is your Hulus, your Disneys, humongous war chests of capital, and what you need to do is differentiate yourself and then be very, very cognizant of how you market and gain those audiences, because there's a whole nother layer of audiences that are seeking something else. They don't want the same stuff. Maybe they want this on top of what they get, but to be at a direct competitor, it's just not going to happen. It's really silly unless you become strategic partners with them. That would be more of the angle that you'd want to go.
What do you have to say about this war at the top with Prime, Netflix, Hulu, and all of these channels? Who's winning it? Is it a race to the bottom also, or is it a race to the top?
Again, that's going to be a to be determined. I think that, you have a lot of huge names involved in there. They have other areas of their business that can support their growth. As they are trying to rip each other's necks off for that market share. I think that content always wins in the end. And we'll see who fizzles, but I think you're going to see a lot of M&A happening. There's already been a lot of M&A action in this space. I mean, hell, we're probably at some point going to be a target for that, I would imagine, because that's just the way media works. So I think you're going to see more and more of that as it goes forward.
What's on your radar, like currently with the trends that we're seeing in your world? Any trends or insights you could share with the audience as per where to put their tokens in terms of how to get the attention of viewers?
Yeah, I would say that there is, you know, I know that collaboration versus competition gets thrown around a lot, but that's extremely important in this space. Because you just mentioned you have the big players involved in it, and all the medium, small to medium size players are all fighting for the crumbs, so to say. And so them paying for development of all these tools and all this stuff, and this duplication of efforts that's happening is really not beneficial for them. So I think hopefully we'll see more and more. We've been doing a lot more, working with a lot more networks. Like we have about 7 networks that are on E360 TV now. So it is more, we're gearing more towards that collaborations route, because we do our job, which is, hey, let's get the streams there. Let's make sure the audience has a good functional experience and has a good time. And they do what they do, which is that maybe that's production or other pieces of the puzzle that they want to do and they want to sink their teeth into. A lot of collaboration is important right now for the survival.
Where can people find out more about you, Aaron?
Just Google E360 TV. I mean, we're present on all the different social media sites. We have our website, which is e360tv.com. You can just plug in there. That is the viewing portal, of course. That's just for audience members. But there's plenty of reaching out through Facebook or anything like that is a good way just to get a hold of us. But there's plenty of little spots where we are available.
And I am Charles Cormier, host of founderwisdompodcast.com. You can find us there, or if you want to start scale, be invited to a podcast, you can go to podpire.com. That was Aaron Heimes.